Alright, trickers and trickers, let's take a look at the second episode of the day, which is Ferengi Love Songs. Quark is depressed because Cardassian voles have made his bar unstable for 3 days until Chief O'Brien can get rid of them. Quark also feels that he hasn't had any good luck since his Ferengi business license was revoked the previous year by the FCA. Later, a depressed Quark sits moping in his quarters when Rom enters and announces to his brother that he's marrying Lita. Then it's just that Quark visits the mother Ishka on Ferenginar. Quark arrives on Ferenginar, and his Moogie is very surprised that he has come to visit. Rom is learning about Bajoran customs to please Lita, but Chief O'Brien and Lieutenant Commander Jadzia Dax are teasing him on the Replomat about his being the least Ferengi-like Ferengi they have ever met. This revelation upsets Rom, despite O'Brien's and Dax's urging that it is a compliment. On Ferenginar, Quark is explaining his distress to his mother since he lost his business license. Ishka asks him why he chose to visit her. When they've never had a very good relationship, due to Ishka's refusal to follow Ferengi traditions concerning the proper roles of females. Quark assures her that he wants to stay until he starts to feel better. When Quark goes to his child's bedroom, he's surprised to find that his mother has moved all of his personal belongings, including his Marauder Mo action figures, from the room. Quark is even more startled to discover that Grand Negus Zek is in the closet when he goes to put his bag away. Quark is afraid that his mother has been illegally earning profit again in violation of FCA rules, but said Ishka and Zeki proclaim they are in love. Ishka and Zek announce that they met during an annual Tongo tournament and they've been seeing each other ever since, although their relationship is not public information. Though he's initially quite startled, Quark begins to surmise that he may be able to use the relationship to his advantage to reinstate his business license. Negus then leaves to attend to the business of running the Ferengi Alliance. On the station, O'Brien appears to have rid Quark's bar of all the menacing voles. Rom asks Chief O'Brien for an extended lunch break so that he can get Lita to sign the Ferengi equivalent of a prenuptial agreement, the waiver of property and profit, or a WPMP. O'Brien appears extremely doubtful that Lita will agree to such a thing. Rom feels that he must have signed the WPMP to prove that he is still Ferengi. As O'Brien predicted, Lita refuses to sign the WPMP, saying the marriage is all about sharing things, including money. Rom says real acquisition 94. Females and finances don't mix. Rom accuses Lita of being just like his first wife, only after his profits. Lita protests, saying that she loves Rom, but he replies that if she really loved him, she would prove by signing the WPMP. Lita and Rom decide to call the marriage off. Quark, Ishka, and Zek are having dinner together at Ishka's home. Quark attempts to flatter the Grand Nagus, but Zek sees her acting blatantly refuses to reinstate Quark's business license. He is not willing to overrule the FCA. Besides, contracts are the foundation of Ferengi civilization, and Quark broke a contract with another Ferengi. Ishka agrees with Zek. Quark made a mistake, and now he must suffer the consequences. As Ishka and Zek take a walk around the garden, Quark and Maihar'du clear the dinner table. As Quark returns to his bedroom, Brunt materializes in the closet. Brunt knows of Ishka's and Zek's relationship and is disgusted by it. Quark assures Brunt that he didn't know about it until that day. Nevertheless, Brunt holds Quark responsible for the actions of his mother, a female under his control. Brunt tells Quark that he must put an end to the relationship, privately and quietly. In exchange, Brunt agrees to give Quark a new business license. Quark visits Nagus substantially to pay his respects, but all the while scheming to destroy the relationship by convincing the Nagus that Ishka has not paid back the latinum she earned, and that she is only using Nagus in her quest to end the male domination of Ferenginar and state equal rights for Ferengi females. The Nagus falls to Quark's lies and contemplates his relationship with Ishka. Quark finds that his mother doesn't understand how terrible his life has been since he's forbidden to do business with Ferengis and earn profit. Irritated, Ishka explains that she knows exactly how it feels. She is denied such rights because she's female. Reluctantly, she agrees to speak to the Nagus on Quark's behalf. Back on DS9, Captain Sisko and Lieutenant Commander Worf are discussing on the promenade the contact of the Klingons who recently began living on the station. General Martok has to place in holding cell for tossing one of his men off the second-floor balcony of the promenade as a disciplinary measure. Sisko intervenes, ordering her to release Martok and telling Worf to advise the General that if he wants to retain his position on the station, he must abide by station regulations. After Worf leaves to speak to Martok, Siska and Oda find Rom sobbing while working. A note from Siska that the wedding has been called off. Rom insists that he is crying tears of joy. Meanwhile, Lita tries unsuccessfully to convince Major Kira that calling the wedding off was the best decision that she has ever made. Well, Kira just tells her she means the opposite of what she says. Quark returns home to find his mother crying. She tells him that the Nagus left her, accusing her of being a profit-hungry female who was only using him in her plot to overthrow the Ferengi government. Quark, obviously pleased with himself for ending the relationship and anticipating the return of his business license, assures that everything will be fine. However, Ish tells Quark that it's a disaster, not just for her, but for everyone. Unsure what his mother meant, Quark contacts Brunt, who gives him a valid business license in return for his service to the FCA. The next morning, Quark tells Ishka that he is returning to DS9. Just then, Quark receives a message from Zek, demanding him to see the Tower of Commerce immediately. Excuse me. The Nagus asks Quark to be his first clerk and thanks for warning the Nagus about Ishka's motives. So after accepting the position, Quark realizes that the Nagus is having memory problems, and that he'll have his work cut out for him as first clerk. O'Brien visits Rom in his quarters, where Rom is counting his life savings of platinum on a table. Rom is going to offer Lita a bribe to sign the WPMP. O'Brien points out that the bribe won't work, since if she signs the waiver, she can't keep the money anyway. O'Brien reiterates to Rom that if he wants Lita back, he must forget about the waiver. Rom then quotes Rule of Accusation number 229. Platinum lasts longer than lust. O'Brien replies that while that may be true, lust could be a lot more fun. Rom finally admits that he wants Lita back more than anything. To prove his loyalty for her, Rom gives her all his land to the Bajoran War Orphans Fund so that the waiver is no longer necessary, and he and Lita make up. O'Brien and Bashir watch Rom and Lita from the second level of the promenade. Bashir says to O'Brien, "Well done, Chief," or should I call you Cupid? O'Brien responds by telling Bashir that he's just an incurable romantic. Quark tells his mother that the Nagus has made Quark his first clerk, and she states that he must have had a miserable day then. Ishka tells Quark that the Ferengi markets dropped 199 points that day. Quark realizes that his mother was well aware of Zek's memory problems, and she was helping him keep the markets together during their relationship. Ishka then realizes that Quark caused Zek to end the relationship, that he was put up to it by none other than Brunt. Ishka admonishes Quark, telling him that she hopes his business license was worth the possible destruction of the entire Ferengi economy. Brunt visits Quark at the Tower of Commerce, taunting him about the 199-point decline in the markets the day before. Brunt tells Quark that the FCA has called a meeting to discuss the capabilities of the Nagus. Quark then realizes that Brunt knew about Zek's failing memory all along, and that Brunt convinced Quark to end Ishka and Zek's relationship so that Brunt could expose Zek and maneuver himself to be the new Nagus. Back at home, Ishka asks Quark why he hasn't yet returned to DS9 with his new business license. Quark admits his time living among humans has caused him to have a conscience that he is feeling guilty about how Zek was treated and the part he played in Brunt's plan. They agree that Zek's type of greed is good for the people, but Brunt is simply out for himself. Ishka and Quark decide they have to prevent Brunt from becoming Nagus, to help Zek pass Brunt's test and retain his position as Nagus. When Zek and Quark and his servant are alone again, Quark suggests that the Nagus contact the Vulcans to see if they can help improve his memory and allow him to stay in power. Zek says he's never liked the Vulcans because they have no interest in profit. But they do make good doctors. He tells his servant to make an appointment for him to see if there's a treatment. Zek goes on to thank Quark for his help and requests that Quark retain his position as the Nagus' first clerk. However, Quark instead says he can't. Zek gets mad and says he needs Quark as his financial advisor. Quark offers to introduce Zek to his own financial advisor and brings in his mother. Zek is even angry, but Quark says that Nagus deserves the best financial advisor there is, and that's my Moogie. Ishka steps forward. She says, "I won't lie to you. I believe in equal rights for females. I hope one day you will too, but I'd never do anything to hurt you." Quark then admits that he concocted all the rumors about his mother, and Zek fires Quark. Now that the rumors have been exposed as false, Zek and Ishka get back together. Quark returns to DS9, and Ishka bringing Quark some Marauder Muff action figures to him. She says she kept them in storage for him all these years because she knew he'd want them someday. Quark says they must be worth a lot as collectibles, though she notes that they would have been more if he kept them in the original packaging as she'd advised. Quark says that even back then she was good at giving him good financial advice, and they both smile. Ishka leaves and Quark continues packing. Barton materializes in Quark's closet again and says he knows he can't defeat Zek now, but Quark is a different matter. Barton asks Quark to keep his new business license, if only so he could keep track of Quark's actions and see him fail in the future. After Brent dematerializes, Quark begins playing with the action figures. Oh, that's nice. So anyway, let's take a look at some production notes about this episode. Zek's throne was originally built as a Roman commander chair for the Dice cast, although it was not used in that episode. Laura Richards redressed the prop for this episode. The Marotimo action figures are redressed Super Patriot figures for the McFarlane Spawn action figure line of the mid-90s. Two of the action figures hold an energy whip made for pipe cleaners, seen in Last Outpost and Acquisition. And now finally let's take a look at some trivia surrounding this episode. References Rules of Acquisition numbers 18, ranking without profits and ranking at all. 94, females and finances don't mix. 208, sometimes the only thing more dangerous than a question is an answer. And 299, item lasts longer than lust. This episode introduces Cicely Adams as Ishka. Andrea Martin had previously played the role in the episode Family Business, but she found the prosthetics too much and decided not to return to the role. Adams will play Ishka for the duration of the show. This episode introduces the character of Lek in a small role. Lek will return in the 6th season episode The Magnificent Ferengi in a more prominent role. This is the 6th episode directed by Renee Auberjonois. Quark gets back his business license episode, having lost it in body parts for breaking a contract with Brunt. The FCA notices which Brunt placed on the walls of Quark's remained in place for the interval between these two episodes, but they were removed prior to the following episode, Soldiers of the Empire. Carol Lofton, who plays Jack Sisko, does not appear in this episode. So overall, I really do like this episode, and hey, it's a good thing Quark got his business license back, so yay him! So overall, I give Ferengi Love Songs 3 warp cores out of 5. Anyway, tune in a bit as we took the final episode of the day, Soldiers of the Empire. So, until then, live long and prosper, everybody.